Ready for a real mind bender today? We're diving into Michel Serres.
Oh, he's great.
This French philosopher, he ties music, language, like being human all together. It's
exciting stuff.
It's gonna get deep, folks.
What's so cool about Serres, he doesn't treat music like, music. It's a force, like this language we all speak no matter what. Shapes how we see the world ourselves, even touches on the divine, right?
Exactly, and he lays it all out in music, his book. And here's the thing. It's not your typical philosophy. It's like three stories woven together.
Right. You've got the Orpheus myth, then his own life, and then bam, deep dive into biblical text.
Exactly. It's wild.
It's brilliant, though, because he can circle these complex ideas from like every angle, 3D view of how music's everywhere.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Orpheus, classic myth, everyone kind of knows it.
Yeah.
But Serres uses him to show how music comes from like the rawness of the world.
Yeah, but it's not the Orpheus we think of usually. This Orpheus, he isn't drawn in by some siren song. He's looking for silence. Like, the world's too loud. Serres calls it the noises of the world. Every hum, every roar. Imagine that all at once.
And he really lays those descriptions on thick. He talks about, get this, the ribbons fluttering, praying in the wind of the Himalayas, or even the formidable expansion of a wave, unheard because it is universal. Like, whoa.
Right. He makes this like immense soundscape of existence. You're supposed to feel how massive it all is, from the tiniest thing to like a star exploding.
So Orpheus, he's overwhelmed. But then he learns to listen. And within that, there's order, a kind of primal music underneath it all.
This is where Serres gets you. He says music is that link between this noise and the language we use every day. Rhythm, harmony, they smooth out the rough edges of sound. Makes it so we all get it no matter what we speak, right?
So language, with all its rules, is just like a polished version of this raw music Orpheus finds.
Exactly. There's even this line, like, Aphrodite, mother of all beauty, was born from the foam and the surf, so suddenly emerges from the chaotic sea of noise, music. Music brings that order and beauty, just like Aphrodite, to the world, right?
Okay, that's some poetry right there. So if music is this big force, this language of everything, what about us? Right here. What are we part of just talking like this?
$1 million question. Think about it. We breathe to a rhythm. The city outside, the wind, are we part of it? Are we even listening?
And if we are, how does that change how we see ourselves, each other, being in this messy musical universe? That's where I want to go.
Oh, get ready. Because Serres, he takes us on a ride with this stuff. Makes you rethink how you see everything.
It's funny when you think about it. We always say seeing is believing, or like that aha moment.
Yeah.
It's all about seeing, right? But Serres flips it, says maybe that's holding us back.
Yeah, it's true. We talk about knowledge like we see it, but what if that's limiting us?
Okay, I'm with you. So how does music help us understand what sight can't?
Well, think. Sight, it's all about objects, right? Fixed things. But sound, it's vibration, movement, connections. It's fluid, always changing, like the universe, really.
Like we're trying to get the flow of a river from one picture. Music, it gives you the current.
That's it. Serres even says, I hear this tremor, therefore I understand. It's about really listening, getting those vibes, those rhythms. Maybe that's deeper than just looking.
So instead of like sight-based knowledge, he gives us musical epistemology. Okay, that's a mouthful. What's that mean in plain English?
Basically using music as our model for how everything works. Think how music, it's got that flow, those connections, the changes built in, right?
Okay, I see. Like evolution. It's not just a picture, it's constant change, adapting. Music gets that in a way diagrams can't.
Exactly. Or like laws of physics, gravity, it's like a dance, a music to it all. Even our emotions, they're like melodies up and down.
So pursuing knowledge, it's like writing music almost. We take the raw stuff, the noise, and make it into something that means something.
Beautifully put. It's like the composer, right? Takes sounds, makes them music. Serres says knowledge is the same, taking that raw energy and making information. He calls it going from hot energy to cool information.
So we go from chaos to order, energy to info. But what about just us? Serres, he talks about his own life a lot in this, right?
Well, that makes it so good. He's not just up in the clouds. He tells you how music's in his memories, everything. He even says he was a failed musician.
Yeah.
But that makes it real, you know?
Like when he talks about languages having music, how if you speak, say, Spanish, Italian, whatever, you can almost get each other, even if you don't know all the words. Like, there's something deeper going on.
Right. He tells the story about the Romance languages department at his school. They had this club, right? And even though everyone spoke different languages, Portuguese, Spanish, French, Italian, they could all understand each other pretty well. And Serres, he says it's because of the shared music of the languages, something underneath the actual words.
That's wild. Like, music connects us even when words fail. Makes you wonder, was music our first language? Before we had words, was it how we connected?
Totally. Think about it. Our ancestors, showing joy, sadness, all through sounds, rhythms. It changes how you see language altogether.
And maybe those echoes are still in us, right? That pull we feel to certain music, how it hits us deeper than words sometimes.
Exactly. It's like something ancient, universal, lullabies, calming babies, songs taking you back. Maybe those are glimpses of that old musical language.
So we've gone from the whole universe's symphony to this personal, almost primal thing with music. And get this, Serres doesn't stop there. He takes it into the spiritual realm, saying music could be our link to something bigger.
And here's where the biblical stuff adds another layer. Music becomes this language beyond words. It connects us to the divine, the stuff we can't explain.
Okay, hit me with it. I'm ready. Okay, so music, it's this bridge to the spiritual. Where's Serres take us with that?
Right into the Bible he goes. That story, the visitation, Mary visiting Elizabeth, both pregnant. It's a heavy moment, right? But Serres, he's drawn to one thing. Elizabeth's baby, John the Baptist. He jumps in the womb when Mary greets them.
It's like this sonic I know you kind of thing. Before birth, reacting to sound, to music. So deep.
Totally. And Serres, he picks out all those reactions. The baby jumps, Elizabeth's overwhelmed, this holy feeling. Sound, emotion, spirit, all right there.
And for him, that's like the model for music itself, is how music goes past just like our ears into something bigger.
He makes this link, see? John the Baptist, he's the precursor to Jesus, the word, right? Music's like that too. It comes before words. It's how we felt and showed stuff before we had words for it.
Okay, I'm going to need a quote on that one. Serres can get pretty out there, but beautifully so.
Oh, he goes for it. He says, the narrative of the visitation describes this precedence of music over the birth of the word, making the first proceed from the flesh, from its movements, from its prenatal emotions, as if it were a pre-incarnation.
See, I told you. So before words, before even thinking maybe, there's music, soul language connected to, like, everything.
And that goes right into one of his big ideas. Praise. He asks, and it's a good question, how do you praise what's bigger than words? What we can even get our heads around.
It's like when you see, I don't know, the whole Milky Way. What words even do that?
Right. Serres says anytime we praise a thing, like this God, this country, it's always comparing. And comparing, that's where we get hierarchies and bam, conflict.
So praising one God over others, division. One country's the best, here comes trouble. Makes sense.
So real praise for Serres, it can't be about anything specific. It's got to be for something so huge, so unknowable, it's beyond even labels. He calls it the absent. It just is.
Okay, so no words for that because words box it in.
Yeah.
Then how do we do that? Praise the absent, I mean.
Music. That's his answer. Music doesn't need words, doesn't put things in boxes. It just is. And it can give you that awe, that feeling of being tiny next to something massive without explaining it away.
Like when a song really, truly gets you, you're not analyzing it. You just feel it.
Exactly. And Serres, he doesn't stop there. He says this praising, this being connected to something bigger. It's not just a nice idea, it's crucial.
Whoa, okay, strong words. How's he figure that?
He says, and I love this, there is no work or task more useful, more urgent, more necessary to our survival than to give the time of our lives, like monks and nuns, to songs, to choirs, to the music of praise. That connection, it's how we get past the stuff that tears us apart.
So, not arguing over whose God's better, whose country's top dog. We're celebrating the mystery of it all. Finding common ground in the, I don't know, part.
And in that, being humbled by the same thing, maybe, just maybe, that's peace, harmony.
I love that. So hopeful, so different from how we usually do things.
It's a challenge, right? He's saying listen deeper, not just to music, but to, existence itself. Find that harmony inside and let it out.
Living is praise.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but it's kind of beautiful.
It's powerful, and talking about it, even if it gets uncomfortable, that's worth it.
Absolutely. Huge thanks for this deep dive with us. Serres World, man, what a trip.
Anytime. His stuff always gets me thinking.
And to everyone listening, we hope this got your brain going. Yeah. Agree or disagree, Serres makes you think right. Gives you a whole new way to hear the world, the music in it, in us. Until next time, keep exploring, folks.